Plants vs. Zombies, arguably one of the biggest indie games ever released, up there with titans such as Angry Birds and Minecraft. Well, okay, maybe not quite in the level of Minecraft, but it's still pretty damn big. This video is going to be focused on being more of a retrospective and review of the original Plants vs. Zombies game. I will not be covering the sequels or spin-offs in this video, although if the video does well, I may look into some of the other games. I will be focusing my efforts on the Steam release of the game, and won't really look at specific inclusions of the Xbox, DS, and mobile versions of the game. This is also the footage you will be watching. I would also like to start this video by saying I grew up with this game, and have a great bout of nostalgia for it, and as such I cannot deny that rose-tinted glasses may affect parts of this review, but I will try to look at the positives and negatives as I see fit for the game. Aside from all this, I would ask that if you enjoy the video, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It really helps show support, and while I hate to constantly ask, whenever 98% of views come from non-subscribers, I do feel the need to at least bring it up. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Plants vs. Zombies was developed by Popcap Studios and George Fan. It was based in some part on Fan's previous game, Insane Aquarium, but with a more defense-oriented gameplay style. The title underwent many changes during production, including earlier versions that involved aliens under the title of weedlings, with Plants vs. Zombies being a placeholder title, while he looked at a more permanent one in the forms of Residential Evil, Bloom and Doom, and even Lawn of the Dead, which was almost the title until George Romero himself shut that idea down. However, in my opinion, the final title that would be used does a much better job of portraying the simplistic but engaging and unique topic that the game is known for. Fan would design most of the game alone, although since he was a part of Popcap at the time, they helped him by giving him some more team members to help out, including Laura Shigihara, who would compose the now iconic soundtrack. After about 3 years of development and tweaking, the game was finally ready for marketing, with its first teaser being released in the form of the now infamous music video, Zombies on Your Lawn, followed by a full trailer later that month. By the 5th of the following month, the game would be released on PC and Mac. As mentioned earlier, the concept for this game came from designing a more defense-based style to one of Fan's previous titles, Insane Aquarium, combined with inspirations from the likes of Tapper for its lane multitasking, and Magic the Gathering for its seed packet selection system. No, I'm not kidding. Apparently Fan even took inspiration from the film Swiss Family Robinson from 1960, which stars a family being shipwrecked on an island and fending off pirates to defend their home. In the end, the game would take the well-known tower defense genre and turn it on its head with a completely different take than any other major TD game that had been seen before. The game incentivizes multitasking and strategies in a whole new way, with new plants and zombies being introduced in nearly every adventure mode level. This creates a satisfying feedback loop as you, as a player, know that every level you complete, there will always be some sort of reward, usually a new plant to play around with. Something the sequels would struggle to implement. With 49 plants total amongst 50 levels, as well as plants that can be bought in a store with in-game currency. On top of this, every 10 levels the game changes up its setting to keep gameplay fresh, with a total of 5 different backdrops you can fight amongst, each with a unique music track to accompany it and a gimmick to boot. The front yard daytime levels are a great starting point to teach you the mechanics with sun, the main currency for the plants, falling from the sky, but also being provided by the sun-producing plants. The zombies are simple and not too dangerous yet, with more lanes opening up as you play. Then, after the 10th stage, you progress to the nighttime stages. It is the same yard, but now gravestone can spawn, stopping you from planting in a tile, and worse, sun no longer falls from the sky, which significantly changes the amount of sun you will have to work with. New cheaper plants are given to you in the form of mushrooms that only work during the night, as they will sleep during the day, giving way to unique and new strategies at night that aren't possible during the day. After this, you move to the backyard, which sports 6 lanes instead of the normal 5. 2 of which are occupied by these new water plants. You will be required to place lily pads before you can plant anything in the pool, and there are certain plants that only work in the pools, alongside new zombie types that also make use of the pool setting. After this, we move to the nighttime pool setting, where the night setting again restricts the sun from falling from the sky, but new to this area, to replace the gravestones is the fog that will obscure half your screen and can only be lit up with a specific plant. Finally, you reach the roof, which sports a slanted field, as well as the need to place a pot before you can place any plants, similar to the pool, but now affecting every tile. On top of this, the slanted floor prevents straight shooting plants like the classic pea shooter from working here, again changing up your strategy drastically. While this is the end of different stages in the game, it is far from the only way to play, including conveyor belt levels which feed you specific plants you must use, as well as specific level changes and mini-games or puzzles, which I will discuss in a later chapter. Overall, the gameplay itself is pretty easy to grasp. Click on a plant, and if you have a required amount of sun, then you'll be able to plant it on the field. The zombies appear at the right, and continue down their lane towards you, eating the plants along the way. It's a simple but effective way of play that keeps things fresh and inventive all the way through the game. Well, Dave, he doesn't like zombies, doesn't want to die. That's about it for the story, honestly. Not sure why I dedicated an entire chapter to this. Alright, so I'm not going to go over every single plant in the game, more over the specific types and how they might be used throughout the game. So, throughout the game, there are tons of unique plants and many are hard to classify, but if I had to, I would say we have offensive, defensive, sun-producing, and consumables. And the rest. Some of them don't really fit in these 4 categories, so 5. In the offensive category, you have stuff like the pea shooters and spikeweed, and so forth. These are the plants that you place in the field and will attack zombies in some way. As mentioned before, this can interact with the area you are in some interesting ways, such as how spikeweed cannot be placed on lily pads or pots, or how the pea shooter can not be used effectively on the early tiles of the roof. Defense gives you walnuts and pumpkins. These guys have much more health than the average plant, so they can defend your brains easier, although they don't attack back on their own. Consumables would be one-use plants like cherry bomb and potato mine. These are more so for emergencies to take out larger crowds in the case of the cherry bomb, but there are others that can be used more strategically, like the potato mine, that takes time to arm itself before it can be used. There are also specific consumables like the blower that exist to counter a specific enemy, or the coffee bean that allows you to wake up a mushroom during daytime levels. After this, the sun-producing plants. This category is pretty self-explanatory. These plants make sun, which you can use to purchase other plants, and these become a priority during the nighttime levels. Finally are the others that I don't really have a category for, like the imitator or the planturn, who exists solely to light up the fog in the backyard night levels, and thus becomes completely useless outside of this singular area. There are also the store-bought plants that must be placed on top of an existing plant to combine and create something new. My personal favorite is the cattail. He can attack from any lane and fires pretty consistently, although he can only be used on top of the lily pad, so he is a water-exclusive plant. The zombies in this game come in all shapes and sizes, each with different mechanics and characteristics. In the early levels, they're all pretty simple, but as you get further, you will start to encounter zombies and gargantuars, as well as the boss of the zombies, the aptly named Dr. Zomboss, who arrives on your roof with a giant zombot. Damn, this house is surprisingly strong. The zombies tend to go straight for the brains, but there are also plenty of zombies that just focus on destroying your plants for the others, such as the catapult zombie or the miner. These guys are real bastards, but thankfully, a lot of harder to deal with zombies have specific counters. The magnet shroom in particular comes in handy by stealing helmets, pickaxes, ladders, and anything else that's metal, weakening them and make them far easier to deal with. As you start a level, you get hints at all the zombies you'll be dealing with, so you can pick and choose your plants accordingly. Players who are familiar with the zombies they are to deal with will be able to easily build up a lawn defense to stop the zombies from ever getting close. But of course, some guys are far easier than others. The gargantuar is arguably one of the toughest zombies to deal with, as he has far more health than any of the other zombies and can one-hit all your plants, including your defenses. He even throws an imp when he gets halfway on health and can tear up your later defenses. He's so strong he can even survive 2 explosive plants, making him the only one in the game aside from the zomboss himself that can do that. Overall, the zombies you will face will attack from all fronts, straight on, from behind, under the water, in the sky, and so forth. One thing that Plants vs. Zombies does to break up its gameplay and stave off repetitive gameplay is offer up a minigame level at the midpoint of each area. The minigame dedicated to each world is as follows. World 1-5, Walnut Bowling. The first instance of a conveyor belt level. You are given different walnuts, however, rather than sitting still when you place them, they instantly begin barreling towards the oncoming zombies and ricocheting off them to destroy large crowds. Occasionally, you'll also get an Explodo Nut that will blow up, destroying the zombies in a larger area. This serves as a fun distraction from the main levels and can open itself up to some fun zombie mechanics to deal with, such as the pole vaulting zombie that can jump over a single nut before losing its pole. Heh, nut. World 2-5, Whack-a-Zombie. Similar to Whack-a-Mole, here you are given a hammer to smack and whack any zombies that rise from the graves. As the level goes on, the zombies will drop sun you can use to buy specific consumables, as well as the zombies speeding up to increase the challenge. It's a simple game, but fun distraction. World 3-5, Big Trouble, Little Zombie. Much more straightforward level where the zombies are small, but twice as fast. Overall, this is one of the more basic mini-games in the main adventure, but oh well. World 4-5, Vase Breaker. Use a mallet to break a vase, and either a plant or zombie will be waiting inside. You must build up defenses without knowing what is in any of the vases, save for the green vases that always have a plant in them. This level must have been one of the devs' favorites too, as they would go on to make a whole third of the puzzles tab dedicated to various Facebreaker levels, as well as an endless variant. World 5-5, the one with the chompers. I don't know the actual name of this level, but the idea is it's a conveyor belt level where you only get one of 3 plants. Either a flower pot, a pumpkin, or a chomper. Chompers will eat a zombie whole, but take a really long time to chew them, while pumpkins are basically walnuts that can be placed on top of another plant rather than in front of it, saving space. Using this, you basically just spam chompers and pumpkins. There isn't much in terms of strategy, and overall this level is kind of boring, but at least we actually get to use chomper more. Oh, also addendum, you do also get cherry bombs, so the part about 1 out of 3 plants, that was a lie. So yeah. Aside from these 5 specific levels, there are tons of other unique minigame levels, exclusively accessed through the Minigames tab, where you can fend off against zombie plant hybrids, feed your zombiquarium, or even get lucky with the slot machine. This is where the most unique levels in the gamer side, and is a must-play for any playthrough of the game. Honestly, I never got why the Puzzles tab and the Minigames tab weren't just combined. Because, yeah, they're basically more mini-games, but if the game is going to use it as an excuse to throw in an extra button, then I'll be damned if I ain't going to get an extra chapter out of this. The Puzzles tab only has 3 types of mini-games here, but multiple levels for each. iZombie, Vasebreaker, and Survival. In iZombie, you play as the zombies, taking out cardboard cutouts of the plants to accomplish a goal. You get sun from eating the sunflowers and must use them to purchase more zombies to go against the plants you spent so long getting to know. I love this game mode for how it turns your concept of the game on its head and forces you to take a new strategic look at the game, and the endless mode at the end offers a near limitless fun. Vasebreaker serves as an expanded version of the minigame from the earlier level, offering new levels with different plants and zombies and an endless mode. It's fun, but really just more of the same. And finally, Survival, the best game mode here. Multiple levels stitched together where you must keep your lawn from the previous segment and build it up to add to it as the waves get progressively more horde-like and dangerous. The endless mode in particular is peak PVZ, and something I always find myself returning to whenever I play. Again, like the minigames, this is all a must-play for anyone who gets into the game, and considering both this and the minigames tab serve as extra post-game content, you will be keeping yourself busy for hours, completing all the achievements and challenges. So, to summarize, everything we've seen up until now, this game excels at giving you something new. Almost every level rewards you with a new plant in the main story, and the minigames are all unique enough that you never spend too long doing the same thing to get bored. The only ones that receive full-on multi-level treatments are arguably the peak moments of the game, with Facebreaker being the only part that drags for me personally. The soundtrack is absolutely iconic, composed by the brilliant Laura Shigihara, who's absolutely amazing at this stuff. Seriously, over 10 years later since I first played this game, and I'm still listening to the soundtrack. That's a feat. An enormous amount of post-game content and tons of things I didn't even get around to mentioning, like the Zen Garden or the console/DS exclusive Versus mode. This game is absolutely brilliant. I would absolutely recommend picking this up. And, if you can, check out the Xbox or DS version for the Versus mode alone. I didn't mention it in this video since, for whatever reason, it isn't available on the Steam version, but this mode is so fucking fun. I have so many great memories from playing it with friends and family. This is, honest to God, one of the best games I've ever played. Even EA couldn't ruin this original masterpiece of a game. Dear Lord. No. Howdy. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking or maybe even subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Also, let me know down below what else you would be interested in seeing me cover. I'm always open to ideas, so see you on the flip side, neighbor.